Vancouver Hockey Show Emergency Edition. That's what they call these, right, Aaron?
I guess so. I mean,
yeah. Like this time of the year, like we could be doing one of these a day right now with all the activity that potentially could be happening here. There's still lots of moves to make for the Canucks.
So what happened here? Did Patrick Allvin land in Vegas and bump into Kyle Davidson in the lobby and go, hey man, you ready to make a deal or what?
Yeah, he certainly did. And he was able to get out from underneath the Ilya Mikheyev contract. Everybody has been talking about the fact that the Canucks just got to do that if they want to make some room cap wise, inefficient contract, just a poor free agent signing from the Canucks overall. And that's what I love about Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford is, all right, well, bad signing. Let's move on from the player. And that's what they do. They be a GM it. I absolutely love the way they work. And they were able to move Sam Lafferty, which is not a real big deal. Maybe Chicago was asking for a chance to get get those negotiation rights before he does hit the market because he is a pending UFA, but he spent some time in Chicago there, right? So, maybe the Blackhawks like the player, and, Sam Lafferty is an NHL player, depth guy, so maybe he'll find a role with the Blackhawks. The Canucks had to add the sweetener, of course, the 2027 second round pick, and they retained a little bit of Mikheyev's contract. And this is an important piece because I thought for sure there was going to be a lot more retention wherever he went. And it's just 15%, Aaron. And what's that? I think $700K just and change or so over the next couple of years. So
15%, that's a good tip.
Exactly. Well, I don't know about nowadays. Jeez. You seen some of those tipping options they went on there?
Yeah, they got the old firmware on that tip machine that Chicago had.
But the Canucks do get something. They get a 2027 fourth, so it's just a pick swap, if you will, in 2027. But I was just going to say, like I've said this before, and I'll probably say it a little bit more here, maybe over this next week or so, a tidy piece of business from the Canucks front office. Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford are just, they know how to masterclass this. And, I'm not saying that it's an absolute fleecing, and, they do have to take the brunt of the fact that, it was them that brought Mikheyev in here. And Mikheyev, did get injured and he had his, issues with that. But, the fact that they were able to, get off the player, like I said, just 2 years into a 4-year contract and an inefficient contract, and then opening up cap space to really take a swing now in free agency. Because on the last pod we did, which was, 4 or 5 days ago, we did talk about the fact that, if you are going to go big game hunting, like, you got to make sure that you've got some left over for the other holes that you need to fill. And now with Mikheyev off the cap, well, that opens them up to close to $28.8 million in cap space when you add in the LTIR with the Tucker Poolman contract. So, that's got Jake Guentzel written all over it. At least a big chunk of that's got Jake Guentzel written all over it. Whether the Canucks will be able to, get there with the contract offer for the former Penguin, which is, of course, Jim Rutherford knows very well, and Patrick Allvin knows very well. Maybe Carolina's able to ink him before he goes to market. But I think when you're Jake Guentzel's, agent, you see the Canucks doing this, and you see, potentially 2 or 3 other teams circling the wagons, and you're going, well, why the hell would we sign in Carolina? Like, you literally would have to blow our doors off. Unless the player just, loves the Carolina situation, and, maybe he does. Like, it's a great place to play, and Rod the Bod, one of the best coaches in the league, a team that's definitely on the rise. But man, it kind of reeks of overpay at this point, doesn't it? Right?
We'll have to see what they do.
Well, no, I don't mean the Canucks. I just mean in terms of whoever does land Guentzel, because I know a lot of people are speculating, somewhere in the 9 millions. Well, is it going to start with 10 now? So, I know everybody's getting really excited about Guentzel, and maybe they should. Maybe those connections that he has in Pittsburgh are enough for, to get it to a place where the Canucks and, Guentzel's camp can feel comfortable, and Canuck fans can feel comfortable about it as well. Because let's be honest, like, you don't just have, that top 6 winger that you got to fill as well. You got a third line winger you got to fill, and you got 2 D pair, possibly 3, depending on, what you think Noah Juleson is right now, whether you think he's an actual 6 or if he's still a depth piece, right? or if maybe you're going to go for another who knows? I don't know where the dollars are going to go, but like I said, if you're going for that top six winger with Guentzel, it's going to be a big chunk of that. So if they can't land him though, what's the backup plan going to be? And hearing rumors now that, perhaps Jeff Skinner might get bought out of his contract. And, here's a player that came off a 40-goal season and a bit of an outlier season, I believe, for him, and then just never was able to follow suit. 2 or 3 years left on it's like a $9 million. I don't know how Jeff Skinner ever got $9 million, but kudos to his agent on that deal. But he is still a good player. Like he's rebounded the last couple of years. It was just the first 2 years of the contract in Buffalo were no good, but he's rebounded now. So, maybe the Canucks go sniffing around at that. Now, you're not going to be going anywhere near that until he gets bought out. You're not touching that contract in any sort of trade or anything like that. But maybe Skinner's not your best option, though. We talked about Jonathan Marchessault. He's a little bit older, but you've got that Stanley Cup pedigree, Conn Smythe trophy winner. He'll probably cost less money. No, he will cost less money than a Jake Guentzel, perhaps even a Sam Reinhart, who will probably be like Guentzel and get an overpay because they're the two biggest guys available, really, in terms of forwards. And, Reinhart's coming off a 57-goal season. So if he does slip his way out of Florida, I don't know why he'd want to leave after winning the Stanley Cup, but I would have to see. But he does have overpay if he hits the market, at least, written all over him as well. So I don't know if the Canucks want to go there. Marchessault could be that guy, but it's going to get sticky because, like I said, getting a little bit longer in the tooth. What's he going to want in terms of dollars? What's he going to want in terms of term? So what is the backup plan going to be? Because I know everybody is fixated on Jake Guentzel, but the Canucks got to be prepared for the Guentzel camp to perhaps go elsewhere. The Canucks did make another move today. They re-signed Teddy Blueger, 2-year deal, $3.6 million, AAV of $1.8 million. In fact, Aaron, I think when we talked about Teddy Blueger and we were sort of breaking down where exactly that would fit, and I think we could go back to the tape or whatever they call it these days and figure out exactly what I said. But I think I said that I was fine if they just stayed right there.
I think it was a here nor there kind of.
Yeah. But I just meant in terms of the dollars as well. Yeah, like I do like Teddy Blueger. And in fact, I think maybe that comment was a little bit rude maybe on my part, but just because he's actually a better player than I was giving him credit for.
He's Raffy's favorite.
He's not a replacement level player. No, he does things that, that are key, especially for a team that is trying to, take that next step and try to go to a cup. So came in at what I thought it was going to be, 2-year deal. Good for Teddy Blueger and good for the Canucks as well. Cause what is he? Is he your 3C? Is he your 4C? What are they going to do there as well? That's all going to shake down again with, really what happens with Guentzel, because if Guentzel eats half those dollars, then they've got a lot of different things that they have to think about and where they're going to allocate the rest of those dollars. And that goes to Nikita Zadorov now. So we talked about overpay, like he's got overpay written all over him as well, but the Canucks do have that trump card because he openly wants to stay here. But, if another team's coming to you with what, 5 to, potentially 10 more million, how do you say no to that? Right.
Yep.
And it's your last contract. It's going to be Zadorov's last contract. This one, especially the way he played, this year, especially in the postseason as well. He inflated his value in that postseason. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm just wondering, what that back end of the term will look like, especially, if you're looking at like a 6-year deal for this player, right? So we talked about the $5 million ceiling. Don't know if that's going to get it done. I think the Canucks would love that if that could get it done. But again, it's that extra term. Will they go to a 6-year? What is the Zadorov camp looking for? He's going to be 30, right? So, again, that back end of that contract, what's that going to look like? Again, with Dakota Joshua, same thing. 28 right now. I believe he turns 29. Is it a little bit later this year? Regardless, where are you going with term with that? How much is he going to make? Is it going to be over $4 million at that point? You're going to have to go elsewhere, right? Just dollars aren't going to line up. So, the biggest domino is what they do with that, top 6 winger. But they're going to have to move swiftly after that because there are a lot of teams that want to feast at the trough of the free agents that are available this year. And there's a lot of good ones, especially on the blue line. And we didn't even really talk about potential guys for that. But let's just let this one marinate a little bit, Aaron. We'll give a couple days before we really dig into that. We'll try to dig into some draft as well on the next episode. Before we do get out of here, though, I want to talk about the Cup Final real quick.
Yep.
One of the best that we've had in years. It was full marks. Looked like it was going to be a dog's breakfast right off the bat. Down 3 buzz. Oilers do what they did all season, just the comeback kids. Not able to pull it off in Game 7, but that Game 7...
The cherry on top would have been sending it into overtime in the last 2 minutes and just, sudden death overtime for a Cup Final. That would have been the cherry, but it was still a fantastic series. So
totally lived up to the hype. I love the fact that there was a ton of Oiler fans down there, but at the same time, too, I got to give credit.
I texted you, that was a loud "Oh Canada" in that arena.
Alanis Morissette was giving it a little bit extra for her home country as well, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I got to give credit to the Panthers fans, though. They helped them. They were the sixth man or whatever you want to call it out there. No, it was just a really fun final. McDavid with the Conn Smythe, and anybody that thinks McDavid wasn't classy for not coming out to accept the award, just shut up. Like, just stop being so fake angry about everything. Like, the guy just lost the Stanley Cup, like, after dragging his team from an 0-3 hole. Like, sorry, man. No, I can't accept that right now. So, I mean, there's bigger things to get worried about in this world. And I thought Connor McDavid was just absolutely brilliant. One of the best performances we've ever seen in a Stanley Cup playoffs. So, kudos to the Oilers. It's a great season. I know Vancouver fans, Canuck fans that listen to this podcast, you probably don't want to hear that right now, but you're probably pretty happy that they weren't able to pull it off as well. There were some Canuck connections, though, with the Panthers. Luongo,
just a few.
Yeah. Obviously. That was really, really cool. OEL. Hey, OEL was a major piece of that Panthers blue line. He had a fantastic season. He was really good in the playoffs. He was good in Game 7 as well. The Panthers just went in full on lockdown mode, right? And OEL is a big part of that as well. So kudos to OEL. Jonah Gadjevich didn't play in the playoffs for the Panthers, but of course, I think he played a good chunk of the season though for them. Gustav Forsling, of course, Canucks draft pick. It's a sore spot for Canuck fans, but boy, has he blossomed into a great defenseman. Will Lockwood is the last one, but he's more AHL player as well. Just spent a few games with the Panthers this year. Nothing in the playoffs. And we'd mentioned him earlier, but Sam Reinhart, of course, is from the North Shore here. So, yeah, there you go. There's some connections to the Canucks and to
and I want to say, like, I'm really happy for Paul Maurice as well. That was probably one of the best, like, honest speeches that at the end. It was just so honest and just so from the heart too, that, he was just really taking it in. I mean, like that was a great moment there.
Nobody else mentioned, I haven't heard anybody else mention this though, but I get it. He was in the moment and everything, but he was like, I want the Winnipeg Jets to get the next one of these. And like, if I'm one of the Panthers players, like, wait, hold on, coach. Like, we want to get this again. I understood what he meant by it, but I thought it was pretty funny. For a second though, I was like, did Maurice just like say he's retiring? Like, he's going to go back fishing again.
Hey, quickly too.
Oh, yeah.
Get everybody riled up. Jerseys. No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The jerseys got released today. The Canucks ones, it's basically the same. I thought there was going to be a color scheme change. Are they not in that window to be able to do that yet? I know the NHL's got those weird, or not
to
weird,
me,
but they got rules.
To me, I said it to a friend, the Canucks jersey looks like the generic jersey that advertisers use when they don't want to pay the rights for the official. Like, it's
I kind of thought that as well. Admittingly, the Canucks jersey is not one of the best in the league, though, right? Like, it's when they wear the black skate, and it just pops so much, and everybody wants it. So
I don't even know what the Ducks are thinking. Like, just
I like it. We'll see if I continue to like it. I like it right now. It's their primary colors, though, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like a third either. So yeah, they're going straight prison garb. Hey. whatever, man.
No, I only saw the fronts. I didn't see the backs. So let's see if Fanatics actually has full size font on the backs instead of like the tiny font that they went with the MLB stuff.
Yeah. Let's
hope that the pants aren't see through either.
Yeah, no, apparently they're they got that billionaire owner or whatever. He was talking about it and how they were just, this is never going to happen again. And yeah, we'll see. But they were showing them off apparently down in Vegas there. So the players are all excited about it. So yeah, we'll see. Fanatics is going to listen. Those MLB uniforms were awful. Like those were revealing. And not only that, they like the amount of sweat that they just absorb. Like it's just ridiculous. So
and weren't stitches like just busting in the middle of the games too?
Yeah. And what's up with like getting a box from them and like the names written wrong on the back? Like, and that's like happens all the time. I don't order a lot of Fanatic stuff, so I'll let you know if I get one that's sent back to me with like Warden or something on the back. All right, big week though around the NHL, of course. Draft is coming up, awards are coming up. Quinn Hughes is going to win. The Norris Trophy is going to be the first Canuck to ever win that. We'll recap all of that right before free agency opens. I've been bugging Dollywall. He's super busy. We'll see if we can get him on here, but we will do another one right before free agency opens. Maybe we'll try to talk to our buddy JD Burke as well. Find out about some prospects because I don't know squat about his prospects this year. I know Macklin Celebrini. That's it.
We need to fold a friend for that one.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see, though. I know Macklin Celebrini is going to be the number one pick. So there you go. All right. For producer Aaron, I'm Andrew Wadden. Thanks for listening, everyone.